From Denver, Colorado, it's round 9 of the 2005 season as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford.
The Mile High City again hosting the Champ Car World Series. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Some of the great sports facilities, including Invesco Field nearby, Coors Field, where the Rockies play Major League Baseball, and of course the Pepsi Center, home to the Denver Nuggets of the NBA, the Colorado Avalanche. They'll be back skating shortly, and home to us this weekend as well for the Centrix Financial Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Care. Full crowd on hand, packed grandstands welcoming the Champ Cars back. 70 degrees right now, track temperature closing in on 100. Winds out of the southeast and just a few clouds around. It should be a great day for racing. We're 8 races into the championship battle in 2005. Sebastian Bourdais leads Paul Tracy by 26 markers. Justin Wilson and Oriol Servia have a good fight going for third. Just 2 points separating 5th through 8th as we are past the halfway mark in 2005. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin, Derek Daly alongside, and we are with you live in Denver for round 9 of the season. Very interesting racetrack here, Derek. It's wide and it's wide open, isn't it?
It really is a great combination of what we call a street circuit and a road course, because there's only about 50% of the track here is made up of public streets. The rest winds in through the car park around the Pepsi Center, and it is big, wide corners which allows passing and that daring kamikaze move down the inside.
Well, that should figure in strongly as we take the green. Let's open up Derek's Champ Car toolbox, and the first point you want to make is the Bourdais battle here.
Bourdais' battle. Despite the fact that Sebastian Bourdais is threatening to run away with this championship, he has a real fight on his hands this weekend because his arch rival Paul Tracy has been faster than Bourdais in both official qualifying sessions, and he is a wingman this weekend. His teammate Dominguez is third on the grid, and he has been fast every session. I think he'll be also trouble for Bourdais.
Bourdais, of course, came from 13th after a spin to win here a year ago. Now, Allmendinger amends.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger, trying not to be called A.J. Wallmendinger. He's had so many crashes that he personally takes the blame for. But I wonder, is today a breakthrough day for him? He's immensely talented. Now, he rubbed the wall again yesterday, but this team is based here in Denver. Might he make amends this afternoon?
With a victory, that would certainly work. How about Coyne for Dale Coyne?
More coin potentially for Dale Coyne. Ricardo Speraffico has been in the top 10 in almost every session. Fell down in qualifying. But I think, just like Bremer did in San Jose, I think Speraffico could well run at the front as this race goes on. We're going to watch that closely.
All right, now let's take a look around this facility. 9 turns, about 1.65 miles. Derek, show us the way around here.
Start-finish line is very wide. Double apex right-hander here, still nice and wide. And then you go to public roads. This is the front straight. This is turn 5. Very slippery, difficult to go through here. Cars have hit the wall on the right side, down through the S's, and then it just widens out. Gets wider and faster down all the way to what we call mile-wide turn, which is almost a hairpin. Plenty of room. As you go through here, this is the passing zone. It's almost 180 miles an hour also.
Very fast place, lots of room to pass. When we continue, before we go green, Kevin Kalkoven, one of the driving forces behind the resurgence of the Champ Car World Series. Derek chats with him coming up. It's been 20 months since a new ownership group took over what is now the Champ Car World Series. It's been a 20-month period of a lot of growth. There is still more growth to come. Kevin Kalkoven has emerged as the driving force behind much of that growth. My colleague Derek Daly visited with Kalkoven earlier this week to get a fix on the future.
I met Kevin Kalkoven in Colorado this week for a candid discussion about the state and future of Champ Car. Kevin, let's just talk a little bit about the business plan of Champ Car.
The first year really called for stability, and we achieved that. And we ended the year on a pretty high note. The second year was really all about developing the new events. It was very important to us to do Edmonton. It was important for us to do San Jose. And it worked sensationally. And so the year 3 plan is to do more of the same. Very important addition to the schedule for next year is, of course, Houston. It takes us to the Texas marketplace. It'll be a night urban event, which will be wonderful. And the track that's planned will be broad, it'll be wide, it'll allow for lots of overtaking. Then in 07, we would very much like to do Philadelphia. Our goal really would be to hold a Philadelphia race on the weekend of July 4th. I mean, what a spectacular event that would be. Have we changed things? Yes. I mean, clearly we've accelerated some of the plans. One thing I learned early in business is if you've got a good product that really is selling, make more.
Kevin designed his Aspen home and is now redesigning the face of open wheel racing.
How important is it, Kevin, that you keep control of the budget that it will take to run a full season of Champ Car?
What we did was simplified everything. We put everybody on the same engine, and we turned it into a driver series. These are drivers competing with the same power, and this is classic wheel-banging, head-to-head American-style racing. It's the athlete that counts, and we want to develop the athletes so that they become household names in time, and that's a very important part of the plan as well. Longer term, I could foresee where we'll well go over 16 races, hold more in the United States, and make this form of motorsport part of the community in many of the cities in the United States. Bringing fans to the events is very, very important to us. Once we got that, we then realized that we can extend the television coverage. We've got wonderful television coverage all over the world, and clearly next year we want to do more network television.
Reunification of American open wheel racing. Was that ever important to you or high on your list?
Should the two series get together? I think that conversation is now in the past. It was never part of our business plan. Have we had conversations? Of course. Would I be open to a continuing dialogue? Of course. Is it something that I see happening? Not really. What we should focus on is our series. There's a lot of momentum in our series at the moment, wonderful momentum. And why change anything? Let's just keep going.
Keep going and growing the plan for 2006. The Champ Car World Series will retain all of its current venues and add one important new one, a top 10 market in Houston, Texas. There'll be a Saturday night show and a temporary circuit outside Reliance Stadium where the Houston Texans of the NFL play on May 13th. We'll be back with more Getting Set for the Green here in Denver.
Under the shadow of the Rocky Mountains, they race in the streets. For 3 years, the greatest drivers in the world have come to Denver. These men and their machines. Last year, Sebastian Bourdais proved once and for all he can be a tactician as well as a front runner.
He's passed 4 cars already. From 13th to the lead, Sebastian Bourdais heads to the checkered flag.
Champ Car returns to the streets with a heated rivalry and a neck-and-neck battle for the points title. Tracy and Bourdais are clearly in command, but with 4 consecutive podium finishes, Oriol Servia is closer to his first win than ever. Could this be Oriol's day? Whose luck will win out in the Mile High City?
Welcome live to the streets of Denver. The Champ Cars have fired up and are on their way for the Centrix Financial Champ Car Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Care. 2003 champion Paul Tracy gesturing to the pace car driver. He'll start from the pole today. His 3rd Bridgestone Pole Award of the 2005 season. He drives the Index car number 3 for Forsyth Championship Racing. He'll line up alongside his nemesis, the defending series champ, current points leader, Sebastian Bourdais, in the McDonald's car number 1.
Tracy's wingman is on road 2. Mario Dominguez had a great qualifying session. He is beside A.J. Allmendinger in the Western Union car.
3rd row on the grid here in Denver today. Justin Wilson, the other Rouge Sport car. This is the Intel number 9. He'll line up alongside Jimmy Vasser, the 96 Series champ in the Gulfstream Low.
Row 4, the Aussie Vineyards car of Alex Tagliani. Beside him, Servia in the Pacific car Newman Haas car.
Row number 5, Cristiano D'Amato, the winner at Portland, the Bell Micro PKB number 21, against Timo Glock in the DHL Global Mail 8 car for the Rocket Sports team.
Andrew Ranger in the MyJack Tide car put a last-dash effort in qualifying. Sperafico in the American Medical Response car beside him.
7th row, Rodolfo Levine, the HVM 55, second race back on tour. Bjorn Berdheim, his teammate in the Liqui number 4.
Citizen of the World, Nelson Philippe in the Wellbox car, row 8, and Ronnie Bremer, American Medical Response beside him.
Final row, Ryan Hunter-Reay's had a difficult weekend in the Cytomax 31, the Rocket Sports entry. The Aussie Vineyards 5 of Marcus Marshall, shotgun on the field. We'll ride with Oriol Servia's Pacific Care car. Worst starting spot for Servia in quite some time. Justin Wilson in the Intel 9 will carry our campers today. That's the Rouge Sport car. And and his teammate A.J. Allmendinger, who feels the series, the circuit certainly owes him one after all the problems he's had. The Western Union 10 car will line up outside row 2. Derek, he had problems during the morning warm-up.
He did. He brushed the wall again, but look how wide, mile-wide corner is here. As soon as they come around here, it's really wide on the run to the first corner. Watch Tracy and watch Bourdais. Bourdais was spectacular last year, but Tracy loves a street fight.
Bourdais trying to sneak up alongside. Let's listen in.
Green.
Tracy and Bourdais, they're 3 wide for second spot. Allmendinger on the outside, contact, 4 wide. A couple of cars hit, I believe that's Vassar. That may be Wilson involved. 3 cars with heavy damage. A couple of cars have stopped. That should be Timo Glock. And we believe that's Spirafico there involved as well. Justin Wilson got caught up in it. Tracy leads. Allmendinger has moved to second. They're on pit road. Third spot belongs to Bourdais. He got out-muscled by Allmendinger. We go full course yellow, working the first of 97 laps today. Heavy damage to the Intel 9 of Justin Wilson. The Bell Micro car of D'Amata is there. That is, in fact, Timo Glock. Look at D'Amata's front end, Derek Daly. He's had huge damage. Looks like Alex Tagliani's Lola, his Aussie Vineyards car, with heavy damage too as they came to the start in turn 1, and Jimmy Vassar gets punted into the tires. He needs some help. He should be able to refire the 12 car.
Wow.
Calvin Fish.
Alex Tagliani has made his way back to the pits. Now looks like his day may be over. Major damage here to the Team Australia car. What a shame. Alex making this 100th start in Champ Car competition in the thick of the points battle between 5th and 8th. And the team are going to look this over. But suspension damage, wing damage, that was unexpected in that first turn. They thought they should get through there cleanly.
Last year there was a turn 1 incident as well. Bourdais got turned around by Bruno Junqueira. Let's have another look.
Now we're going to play it in slow motion. There's 3 wide right behind Paul Tracy and Bourdais. That's okay, but watch back here. That's where it looks like D'Amata, I believe, right there just smashes into the side of Justin Wilson. Jimmy Vassar then gets collected, so both PKV cars get taken out in the same incident. Low angle for you. Watch the left side of your screen over here. That is Vassar. That is D'Amata right on top of Justin Wilson's car. Servi gets walloped also by Glock. Glock is back here. Alex Tagliani is right there. Also limps away, badly wounded. Calvin?
Tag, we didn't expect that in the first turn. What happened? Did you see?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm very disappointed. Cristiano did like a bonsai move coming on the inside. I don't know what he was thinking. He took off a couple of guys. I got hit both sides and damaged the car. So I'm very disappointed in people bonsaiing like that at the start.
Well, the words say it all. I mean, just didn't expect it down there. They should be able to get through that turn cleanly.
Justin Wilson there with his helmet off already. The PKV cars of Jimmy Vassar and D'Amata. Vassar looks as though he may be able to restart. One more look, Derek.
Have a look again. So D'Amata is back here. Watch D'Amata goes inside Tag. Watch Tag right there in the green and white bump. Smacks Tag first right there. And then he collects Justin Wilson, goes up on top of him. Tagliani bounces off and hits Ranger on the inside. So there looks like there was 5 or 6, maybe 7 cars who ultimately made contact there. But Justin Wilson, who's carrying one of our onboard cameras, have a look at this here. Now watch right side of your screen over here. That's where D'Amata appears. Great start here by Justin Wilson to squeeze inside Dominguez. Now he thinks he's clear. That's his teammate over here to the left side, which is Allmendinger. Watch the right side of your screen here. Wilson backs off. Here go, bang, boom. D'Amata smacks into the side. Brakes our onboard camera. Again, low angle. You see Vassar will appear backwards first. Right there. There's D'Amata on top of Wilson right here. Watch Servia. Servia gets hit right there by Glock. Bremer in the American Medical Response Car escapes, but look at the damage to Tag.
Looked as though one of the AMR cars got through cleanly as we see Cristiano D'Amata helmet in hand heading toward one of the safety vehicles. Nelson Philippe's been on pit road. He is off pit road after a quick stop to top off his fuel tanks. Full course caution, working lap number 3 on the streets of Denver. Paul Tracy will lead him back to green when we come back. Back in Denver, let's look one more time at the start incident as they came to the green, Derek.
And we're going to stop the video to show you clearly what happened here. 3 wide, that's no problem. Wilson has his nose stuck down between his teammate and Dominguez. Watch back here with D'Amata, the red and white car. He comes down inside Tag. Tag squeezes him a little bit right there. See Tag right here. The Aussie Vineyards car begins to squeeze D'Amata, but D'Amata's now committed. So roll the video a little bit more. D'Amata's committed, loses grip. Now he can't stop, and boom, straight into Wilson, who's right here. Look at Servia. Servia manages to escape this whole thing. Roll the video. Tag now is heavily damaged. D'Amata goes right up over the top. Tags his teammate Jimmy Vasser here. And now you can see Bremer. Look at Bremer. Bremer right here goes from the back of the grid and is all the way up to 7th place. So we lose Wilson, Tagliani, Vasser, and D'Amata. But Servia somehow made it through that melee. Jan?
He did, and thankfully no damage on the Pacific Care machine. But as you can see, he lost a lot of track position. Had to get on the binders and get off the power band, so to speak. And like you said, Ronnie Bremer took advantage, didn't lift, and just shot right through the middle.
Green flag this time by Paul Tracy, got through. He'll be the restart leader. A.J. Allmendinger will line up second. Bourdais, Mario Dominguez, Andrew Ranger will go 5th in front of Verdheim, Bremer, Ryan Hunter-Ray, and Levine. Single file restart. We've put 5 laps on the board, or coming to 5 laps complete, of 97 in the streets of Denver. Back underway, and Tracy with Allmendinger and Bourdais in tow.
Yeah, and they mentioned at the top of the show, the wide open spaces here for a street circuit invites a potential kamikaze move down the inside. That's what we saw unfold. Wiped out 4 cars. The whole PKV team is gone.
Tracy has now led the 4,000th and making the 4,006th lap of his Champ Car career, as he has led from the drop of the green. Alex Tagliani, they have fixed the Aussie Vineyards 15. He's back on course, Cal.
He is, and we talked about the fact he's in the thick of this points battle. They looked at the car, they realized they could get it back into the action, and that's what they're doing, trying to salvage some points here today. Same thing with Jimmy Vasser in the Gulfstream car. They've had to change their right rear wishbones, rear wing. The team are currently working on the car in pit lane. They'll do the same thing for Jimmy.
So we may only have 2 cars actually behind the wall for the balance of the day, Derek. Tracy has opened up a 10-car length lead now over Allmendinger. He's got 5 car lengths over Bourdais, who's chasing for 2nd spot.
And Allmendinger in that early lap is all over the place. Just watch him saw at the steering wheel, trying to fight for control of the Western Union car. This will be a superb fight as the day goes on here. Allmendinger holding off the championship leader Bourdais.
Now remember, a year ago here, Bourdais was the driver who got punted in turn 1 at Denver by his teammate Bruno Junqueira. He went around, had to restart at the back. It took him about 55 laps to get to the front and race his way by Paul Tracy. He went on for the win. One driver very disappointed, Justin Wilson. He's with Jan.
And you could see the heavy contact to Justin Wilson's car. What happened there in the first corner?
Well, I was in the middle of the track and it got very tight. The car on the left closed me down, so I had to back out of it. And next thing I know, there's a car going over the top, got a wheel in the head and things like that. So, unfortunately, okay, the car's a bit bent, but we can put it back together and go after it the next race.
The wheel actually came into the cockpit but didn't cause any injury. You're okay?
I'm okay. I've just got a tire mark from the back of my head, helmet across the front. So.
Well, I know it's very disappointing. Any thoughts on first corner street circuits? They are very important to try and gain positions. Is that why we see big aggressive moves?
Yeah, I think the main thing is people don't really know where to brake, and some people always try and be a bit more ambitious and others are trying to be cautious. So it's just one of those things. It's just disappointing we got caught out in this one.
Thank you, Justin.
Thanks.
Now Justin really disappointed. Derek, his mom and dad are here from Great Britain.
Keith and Lynn, they don't come to all the races, but they did come to this one, which is just such a shame. And now the Western Union car is the only car from the Roo Sports team, and he is in a huge fight here, trying to hold off Bourdais. Meanwhile, Tracy is now just over 2 seconds up the road.
For Tracy, this couldn't be working out any better because it doesn't look as though Allmendinger is nearly as fast as Bourdais, probably holding the champion up here. This gives Tracy an opportunity to stretch the lead.
And
Bourdais for 2nd spot down into turn 9, and Bourdais grabs the spot. Allmendinger right back at him, trying to slide job, and he gets back by.
Classic move. Now Bourdais is on the inside. Can he make it? Can he make it? Oh, lock the brakes, lock the brakes.
Allmendinger desperately trying to cling to second in the Western Union 10 car. Bourdais on the button in the McDonald's number 1. Power to pass from Cosworth. Tracy's only used 6 seconds of the 60 seconds he has allotted. Allmendinger's used 9. Bourdais burned up 24 seconds of power to pass time already. And here's a look at the move.
Some of it was right there, but look at this. This was a brave move by Bourdais down the inside. Misses the apex, so he goes wide out here, and AJ Allmendinger turns, gets on the power, and moves over to block him. Wow, this is a great street fight. Now watch Bourdais. Left side, left side, left side. He thinks he has it made. Allmendinger turns under him. On the gas. Now watch here. Watch AJ lock up his brakes. Locks up his brakes. Watch the smoke. There it is. Smokes the tires, trying to hold off Bourdais. Whoa.
Allmendinger still second right now, and he stretched it out a little, Jan, over Bourdais.
And for AJ Allmendinger, he was less than confident going into this race after the morning warm-up. Said that both he and Justin Wilson, their cars lost overall grip. Said that just was not working. They made changes. They took a gamble before the start of the race. They didn't want to go back to what they had yesterday. Said that wasn't good. So a gamble on the setup. We'll see if, in fact, the grip comes back to AJ.
Well, on tires that he's got 9 laps in now, seeming to pick up some speed. Bourdais has dropped back just a little bit. He's holding off Mario Dominguez for third spot.
Here comes Tracy's wingman, Mario Dominguez, in the second of the blue and white cars right there. Dominguez is Tracy's wingman. If he can force his way past Bourdais some way, the championship may take a different turn here.
We've put 10 laps on the board here in the streets of Denver. Paul Tracy from the pole has led all the way so far. Only 2 cars officially out after that huge skirmish in turn 1, right off the drop of the green. Average lap speed, lap time, about 1:25. That is a good 25 seconds slower than what we expect race pace to be, because we ran the first 5 laps here today under full course yellow. After that incident, Justin Wilson, Cristiano D'Amata in trouble right away. Jimmy Vasser in the mix with Alex Tagliani. They have repaired Tagliani's Aussie Vineyards 15 car. He's back out on the racetrack. He is several laps, 4 laps down to the leader, Tracy. AJ Allmendinger here in the Western Union 10 for the Roosport team. He's up in second spot, but he's 3.2 seconds behind Paul Tracy, who's led all the way in Denver.
Back in Denver, where the pit road is actually a main thoroughfare here in Denver, Aurora Parkway, but all the pit equipment is up here on the sidewalk. Well, what's the big deal? Well, normally you would lower a fuel tank to the maximum height the Champ Car will give you. But because of the distance in height, Champ Car has given all the teams 8 more inches. So what's the big deal? This is a gravity-fed system. 8 inches higher on the fuel tank, the fuel flows more quickly, meaning the pit stops today will be about 1 second faster, meaning if you're changing tires, you got to try and beat the fueler. Rick?
Well, that's one thing that will be a factor here as we get to our fuel window. Should be about 38 laps before anyone has to stop, but we were hearing that teams might stop as early as 11 laps in. If they got 15 laps of yellow, we had 6 already, you could make this a one-stop race. 97 laps the race distance here today. Of course, no more mandatory fuel windows in Champ Car this season. Oh, Allmendinger nearly brushing the wall again. That has been his problem all season long, especially these last 5 races. He still holds second over Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's 1. Calvin Fish, where are you located?
Well, I'm right down here in turn 5. Jan mentioned that the teams are struggling here in pit lane to accommodate the very unusual set of circumstances that they're dealt. Same thing for the drivers over the course of the weekend. Many of the drivers have struggled here in turn 5. Very bumpy under braking. Then if they get the car loose over this crown in the road where this concrete is, there's nothing to save them on the other side. Very little grip there. We're seeing guys spin. The next problem becomes, it's a blind corner. If the field is coming through and you're sideways in the road, it's going to be a narrow miss over the course of 97 laps here in Denver this afternoon, Rick.
See all the black marks there, Derek, leading up to the tire barriers. We've had several drivers test those tire barriers this weekend.
Did Calvin Fish sign the insurance waiver to be allowed out there?
I thought he'd maybe gone into the flower business for
That is as close as you can get, but that is an awesome place to stand and watch these drivers work so hard, saw at the wheel, particularly drivers like AJ Allmendinger, who will saw at the wheel and will stick that rear wheel almost on the concrete, and sometimes does stick it on the concrete. Have a look here now. Watch when he comes out. Watch the concrete wall on the right side. Look, almost, what, was that 2 inches? Maybe even less. And Rick, in fairness, we've watched AJ Allmendinger have this type of incident all year long.
Well, let's go back to June in Cleveland, Derek. This was not in the race. This was Saturday, but a frightening trip into the wall there coming off turn 8 at Cleveland into the tires. Then at Toronto, he was on pace to be on the podium. His teammate Justin Wilson won the race. stuck it in the tires again, and watch this. Mario Dominguez clouts Allmendinger a ton. They were both okay. Fortunately, very dangerous. Now in Edmonton, Allmendinger was leading here, Derek. What happened to him?
About to win his first race, has brain fade, kisses the wall, and was absolutely distraught afterwards, but it wasn't over yet.
2 weeks ago, San Jose, late in the race, side-slapped the concrete. Not the only driver to have that problem in that place. And yesterday, right here, Derek, he's been battling this car all weekend.
It's hard to believe that he got away with that kiss of the wall there. Just put the tire donut down along the white of the concrete wall. There is no doubt he is a superb talent. He drives these things absolutely on the limit. He just needs to come back a tiny bit to just stay in control for the full length of these long... Oh, look at this, sideways again.
Now, this morning during the warm-up, he tagged the wall with his right rear one more time. But earlier in the event, just a few laps ago, we were listening to his radio, his crew talking to A.J. Allmendinger. They are coaching him through this event today in the streets of Denver. They're telling him he's doing a masterful job so far. Let's listen.
Doing a great job, AJ. Doing exactly what we need. Keep it up, buddy. Doing awesome.
That is his radio man, which is also his engineer, Chris Lurch, talking AJ through this. One thing Carl Russo will tell him time and time again, his team owner, he said, AJ, when you make a mistake, recognize it, learn from it, and then drop it. Move on. Don't carry it as baggage.
Talked to him yesterday about the whole situation. He said all these incidents going back to Cleveland in late June. It's been a difficult month of July. He said, hey, I feel good. July's over. This is a new month. We're going racing. We're going to do well here this weekend. Now, as we've shown you, he's had a couple of very close calls on the slick streets of Denver. Right now, he's backing up in the clutches of Bourdais and Mario Dominguez. This is a race for second spot. This has allowed AJ against Bourdais. One more dive in turn 9, and Bourdais takes second. This time, Allmendinger can't come back at it. And it goes Dominguez by. So Allmendinger loses 2 positions.
You know what happened? AJ went too deep, and when he turned in, he got understeer, which is push, which is when you turn these front wheels and they won't turn the front of the car. He missed the apex, and Dominguez suddenly pounced down the inside also. So Dominguez passes him, and Allmendinger goes from second all the way to fourth. Jan?
Talking about Sebastian Bourdais, I had just checked in with the McDonald's crew wondering if there was a problem, and Craig Hampson said, no, we know that A.J. Allmendinger is not as quick as we are. We want to be patient. We're just hanging back, waiting for a mistake. And almost on cue, Sebastian Bourdais saw the opportunity and seized it. So nothing wrong with the car. He did hit a wall this morning. They repaired the parts, but he's radioed back and said the car's A-OK.
Allmendinger back to fourth off that move by Bourdais that he made stick the second time around. Bourdais and the McDonald's machine into turn 9 to grab second. Dominguez comes up into the fray as well. In that same corner, you can see Allmendinger fighting it on the outside. The Western Union car back and forth. Tracy leads at Denver. Now our Ford Built for the Road Ahead Spotlight. On Saturday of Grand Prix weekend, Ford hosted Ford Day here in Denver, inviting some of the area's best and brightest engineering students. The students had a great opportunity to visit with team engineers and engineers from Cosworth, the series engine supplier.
It's been great bringing the mechanical engineering students from University of Colorado at Denver here to the Grand Prix. We've been wandering the pits, talking to a bunch of the pit crew about the cars mechanically, how they operate. So the students are able to see some of the things that they're studying in classes actually on the cars and find out how they really work.
This opportunity has really encouraged our mechanical engineering students to be more involved with the racing aspect, to see firsthand what's going on the racetrack. This is an experience you can't get on television. Just watching is something you really need to be on the track, speaking with the engineers. There's so many different aspects of mechanical engineering, but racing and being here and involved with the racetrack has really encouraged them to want to work for a company like Ford in their racing program.
Back live in the streets of Denver, riding with Oriole Serbia, who runs 8-8 tonight at 9 Eastern on Speed Wind Tunnel with our good friend Dave Despain. 2004 Speed World Challenge GT champ Tommy Archer joins Dave in the tunnel. Won the title with a victory in 04. He's within 2 points of the championship lead. The Denver event comes up after Champ Car today. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain and his special guest Tommy Archer. It's tonight live, 9 Eastern, only here on Speed. Alongside Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin, watching Oriole Serbia, trying to chase down race leader Paul Tracy, who's led since the drop of the green. Tracy leading his 4,000th career lap here this afternoon. He led lap number 1. 31. Tracy smooth, Derek. He's built that lead to 7.5 seconds over Sebastian Bourdais. We're 24 laps in to this one here in Denver.
Absolutely on top of his game is Paul Tracy. I mean, he is just electrifying when he's on form, which he's been all weekend. He just did a spectacular job in the very first qualifying session, faster than everybody on Friday. Had a Nextel Cup test in Michigan last week. People thought he's on the way to the Nextel Cup. I don't think so. There's no deal for him to drive in Michigan next weekend. He crashed, believe it or not, in Concord, a small half-mile oval. Crashed a school car down there 2 weeks ago, so learning somewhat the hard way as you watch Jim Marshall. One of those Marshall.
Marcus Marshall in the other Aussie Vineyards car. That's the 5. He's back in 14th spot. Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's #1, the Newman Haas car. Defending series champ, 26 points. Bourdais' lead here in 2005. Second to Tracy. For Tracy to get going, he's won 2 races this year, Derek. To cut that championship lead, he needs Bourdais to start having some bad luck, I think, at this point.
And he needs his wingman here, Mario Dominguez, to somehow be able to muscle his way past Bourdais to try and take some of those championship points. But there is just a huge dust-up going on back here. This is Andrew Ranger, who is in 5th place, and that is a long line of cars there, all looking for 5th place.
Ranger behind him is Bjorn Verdheim in the HVM #4. Then you've got Ryan Hunter-Reay in the Rocket Sports Cytomax #31. And Hunter-Reay's quite a story, Derek. He ended up on the tires again yesterday in qualifying. Should have started 12th. Had to cough up his best lap of the session. We've got Andrew Ranger peeling off to make his first pit stop of the day. They refuel the car, put 4 new Bridgestones on. Calvin Fish.
Well, this is in their window, but they certainly didn't want to pit this early. We understand there was a slow leak on one of the tires. Good clean stop for the MyJack team. Andrew Ranger back underway.
Ranger off pit road gives up a top 6 position in the running order by doing so. Now you've got Ranger in 5th, Verdheim 6th, Hunter-Reay moves up, Serbia moves up, and Levine moves up. And that gives everyone an opportunity to get a little bit closer to the race leader, Paul Tracy. Here's Verdheim, now 14th to 6th. Derek, in that Liqui-Moly Eurosport car, he made a lot of ground up in that first lap skirmish.
He really did, and this is the European Formula 3000 champion of a couple of years ago. The same proving ground that gave us Junqueira, Justin Wilson, Montoya, so he has great pedigree, has struggled just to get his feet under him, hit a couple of walls along the way, but Verdheim needs a good run today to just get that dose of confidence to get him to have this type of run every weekend.
Well, Verdheim did pretty well at San Jose, a very tough place 2 weeks ago, finished 8th on that very bumpy street circuit there. The previous 3 races, Verdheim had finished 15th 3 weeks in a row, Cleveland, Toronto, and Edmonton. He had wrecks and problems all of those 3 events. One driver whose event ended very early this weekend in Denver is with Calvin Fish.
Well, Cristiano D'Amato has made his way back to the Bell Micro Products pit. And Cristiano, what happened there in turn 1 from your perspective?
From my point of view, I had a good start. Took off, I got survey right on the start. Tag was right ahead of me. He moved a little bit to the middle and left me a gap right on the right side of the track. And I don't know what was happening in front of him, but he left the gap on the inside and went on the brakes quite early. I saw the gap, I went for it. When I was already committed, I was already going. He started to drive back to the move to the right. After we touched, I didn't see anything else anymore. It was just then too quick, but I'm not sure if he was trying to avoid anything ahead of him or if he just moved to the right over me just because he saw me there. I have no idea, but from me, he just moved over.
Okay, well, the 5th consecutive DNF for Cristiano D'Amato, Rick.
Boy, since that win in Portland, his luck has been horrible. So Cristiano D'Amato, the 2002 Champ Car World Series champion, behind the wall early here in Denver. And Derek, show us again what happened here, coming just to the start in turn 1.
And he's talking about Tagliani in the green and yellow car right there. Tag moves down right there. D'Amato, though, in fairness to Tagliani. Ooh, did you see that? That's how Tag got a lot of damage. D'Amato was trying a very brave, aggressive move down the inside that just, quite frankly, he was carrying way too much speed because even though he was committed, remember, he was not going to miss. Watch the right side here, right side, boom! Oh, just destroys our camera. D'Amato just carried way too much speed, and when he went offline to avoid Tag, he simply speared
into Wilson, and that was the end of the day.
Clouded Wilson's intel number 9, a heavy shot at Justin Wilson, the Portland race leader at halfway before D'Amata came on and won. He won his first race of his Champ Car career at Toronto back in July. First race win for the Roosport team in their couple of years in the Champ Car World Series. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. We'll be back in Denver.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford.
Welcome back to Denver, Coors Field, not very far away, the home of the Colorado Rockies in the National League. That statue is just called The Player in front of Coors Field. Rockies have been home this weekend. It's been a huge weekend for the city of Denver because the Centrix Financial Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacificare, has drawn another huge crowd to the streets of Denver around the Pepsi Center and right by Invesco Field. Paul Tracy has taken advantage of that incident early in the race, going into turn 1. He has vaulted to a 9.5-second lead over second-place driver Sebastian Bourdais. Ronnie Bremer, meantime, is on the move. Tracy, approaching him now, has just gotten by him to put him a lap down. Sebastian Bourdais, meantime, Jan Bikas doesn't seem to be able to make a move on Tracy here in the first third of the race.
He closed in a few laps ago, but then radioed back to the crew saying, "My tires are going off." Just previous to that, they had told him, "Sebastian, go chase down Paul." They were giving him some cheerleading on the sideline, told him, "Use whatever fuel you can." Only a few laps later, it turned out he had pushed too hard for these conditions, said the tires are going away. So
we understand, no front wing adjustment.
And of course, they're conversing back and forth.
I don't know.
They're trying to come up with how they want to change the car to get this thing dialed in so those tires don't go off. Front wing and tire pressure, two of the choices they use.
Jan, earlier in the weekend, didn't they have problems with tire selection?
They did. Their main problem was the car wasn't as fast as they wanted on brand new sticker tires, but they loved how the car was running on the used Bridgestone. So it was a huge surprise for Sebastian Bourdais, who said in the press conference, "I can push these Bridgestones as hard as I want here and there's absolutely no problem, but it's a much warmer day."
Warmer day, a lot of fuel on board the car, running out.
We'd rather have a pressure adjustment.
That is Kenny Seawig, the assistant team.
Definitely.
Assistant team manager for Sebastian Bourdais, deciding their strategic moves. He said he did not want front wing adjustment, definitely wants his tire pressures adjusted because he's got pushed understeer.
Understand, definitely right rear pressure adjustment, Seb.
A right rear, so he's only going to adjust one tire, the right rear pressure, trying to balance this car.
Now, would he go up in air pressure to change the circumference of the tire a little, or go down for
right rear pressure? Suggests to me that it's actually oversteering. If you look very closely at the tire, at the rear tire, that was a good shot there. You can see on the right rear tire, it's beginning to get darker on the inside 2/3 of the tire, which suggests a graining, a scrubbing of the tire. It's hard to see it there, but in a certain light, you can see the inside 2/3.
8 more laps, 8 more.
Have a good close look at that right rear tire. You can just pick out a darker scrubbing on the tire. That's the corner this car that he's having trouble with.
And you can hear Kenny Seawig say 8 more laps. That would put him at lap 42 of a 97-lap event today. Not quite enough to make it a one-stopper. They'd probably need another 10 or 12 laps of yellow to get all the way home on this upcoming full load of fuel and 4 new Bridgestone Potenzas. Bourdais is the points leader by 26 over Tracy. If things hold as they now are, Tracy wins, Bourdais runs second. Well, Tracy only picks up a couple of points, but it would do one thing, I think, Derek. It would break up the momentum that Bourdais and the Newman Haas team seem to have at this stage of the season. Last year, you may recall, Bourdais won here. He backed it up. His teammate, John Kira, won at Montreal, which is upcoming in 2 weeks. And then Bourdais came back and won on the Oval at Vegas, where we'll be in September. And if Tracy's going to have a shot at the title this season, he needs to break that up. He needs to get in there and win some races.
And he needs help here from Mario Dominguez. That's what he needs, his wingman. He was 5th in the championship last year. Hunter Ray is in.
And he has had a good run.
White.
And the fuel field took a little bit longer at 11.4. Not bad, but I think you'll see the front runners under 10 seconds today.
Ryan Hunter-Reay was 9th when he came onto pit road. He, of course, making a green flag stop, gives up some track position, but he's one of the earlier drivers to come to pit road as well. And they've gone pretty well here today, Derek. As we mentioned, he ended his qualifying session yesterday, and the tires had to start 17th today.
I know, but if you have to make a pit stop 7 laps before Sebastian Bourdais, you're giving up enormous amounts of opportunity. And now you're full of fuel, and Sebastian is still running on a light fuel load, running away from you. So they've got to get the fuel consumption on this car much, much more competitive, or they simply will not run with these front runners.
Ryan Hunter-Reay and the Rocket Sports 31, the Cytomax entry. Tracy leads by 10 seconds as we watch Hunter-Reay go by the Centrix grandstand down into turn number 1. We might call that the Centrix corner, the big C logo there. They're the event sponsor here in Denver. One of A.J. Allmendinger, we've talked about him quite a bit today. He just escaped in that turn 1 melee after the drop of the green. Let's ride. This is a helmet camera, the visor of Allmendinger's hat, as he runs 4th here today in the Western Union 10 car, the Rouge Sport team. Derek, he is still sawing away at the wheel of that car. Let's take a full throttle with Allmendinger as he heads down the pit straightaway.
Lock the rear brakes. So second gear. You heard the wheel spin. This is the slippery part. L2, 2 laps in. See the little street map here? Locks the rear brakes again. That is literally a map of the track with the numbers on. It's not because he'll forget where he's going. It's because his engineer has exactly the same map. So to make sure they talk the same language, they're talking about exactly the same corner, he simply looks down, whether it's corner 3, 3A, 4, whatever it is, so the engineer knows exactly the part of the racetrack he is describing as they go through the technical setup of these racing cars.
So Allmendinger and the Western Union bunch planning a stop shortly. It'll be their first stop of the day, likely under green flag conditions, working lap 39 of 97 here at the Centrix Financial Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Care. Now Allmendinger backed up his Atlantic and Barber Dodge championships by being the Roush Rans Rookie of the Year in 2004 in Champ Car. Let's have a look at the Roush Rans Rookie of the Year standings this season. Timo Glock driving for the Rocket Sports team, the DHL Global Mail 8 car. Well, he's got a significant lead, 11 points over Ronnie Bremer, who is in his second ride of the season now for the Dale Coyne team, the AMR 19 today, as that battle rages on for Roush Rans Rookie of the Year honors in the Champ Car World Series. A.J. Allmendinger sits 4th. The race leader is Paul Tracy. He has led all the way. We had a huge incident in turn 1 of lap 1. Full course caution lasting 4 laps. Average lap pace has come down now, minute 7.6 seconds. And we are getting many more green laps now. We've had that one full course yellow. That's been the only caution of the day. Tracy has led all the way from the drop of green. And we're preparing, we understand, for the first stop of the day by Tracy and the Forsyth Index team. And here comes PT.
Concentrate hard on your marks. Concentrate on the marks.
Neil Mickelwright will talk him through.
Reset your fuel meter.
They did not even talk. They didn't even talk on the radio. 10-7, so we're close to the 10-second mark. The Forsyth Index crew very, very quick on pit stops. You can see Oriol Surga setting up, and still no Sebastian Bourdais. That is a huge advantage, going a longer lap on your fuel.
Absolutely. Now, Tracy was 8 seconds ahead of Bourdais before he peeled off. Tracy is now full of fuel. He will be running slow. If Bourdais can do 2 or 3 laps on a light fuel load and pull a second lap on Tracy, he will bring that gap right down. Allmendinger's in.
And of course, he has been complaining of the car on a lack of 9 10:07, so there's our first sub 10-second pit stop of the day. I think that's what it's going to take, but it's even a bigger advantage, like we said, to stay on the racetrack. As Aurel Serbia comes in, they are going to put some rear tire pressure because they heard about Sebastian Bourdais' right rear. They're going to take a piece out of their book. A great look off the back of the car, comes off the jack. 10-1, very close to 10 seconds now. Bourdais is the man, as well as Dominguez, will be here next.
So the Pacific Air 2 car, Aurel Serbia driving in relief of the injured Bruno Junqueira. Serbia is down and away. He was 6th in the running order when he came to pit road. Bourdais vaults to the top of the leaderboard now in front of Mario Dominguez. Tracy's stop under green conditions only cost him 2 spots, but Derek, you make the perfect point. It looks like Bourdais may be able to run 2 more laps until they stop him.
He is running like a scalded cat right now to try and make up at least 2 or 3 seconds on Tracy, and then he'll do the same on the very next run, and that's how strategically they're going to try and rein in Paul Tracy. But that is a good run for Bourdais, but where will he be after his pit stop? That's the major key.
Riding up on the back deck lid on the rear wing, you might say, of the 11 car, Ricardo Spirafico, the AMR 11 car, Dale Coyne's machine. He's got AMR livery on both of his cars here this weekend. The 19 car also for Ronnie Bremer carrying that sponsorship. Mario Dominguez has come to pit road, and the other in-deck car for Jerry Forsythe's team, that's the 7.
This is not what Bourdais wants.
No.
He needs clear roads.
Dominguez getting fuel and tires, Jan.
And they're waiting for the fuel as well. They're only 9 seconds into it as we speak. That one was a little over 10 seconds. And we wait for Sebastian Bourdais, who has set up.
You can see the difference in how these two teams operate. The Newman-Haas team will not let the air jack down until the fueler is filled. And you saw the Forsythe team there. They let the air jack down and then wait for the driver to drop the clutch.
And Derek, the reason that they're doing that is that whole height thing we talked about, the fuel tank. They feel if they drop it off the jacks, they actually get a better gravity flow and it fuels quicker. Calvin?
Bjorn Verdheimer's in, the young rookie having a sensational day here today. He led laps at San Jose. He's currently running in the top 3, waiting for fuel. Tires are done. Revs rise, he's underway. Great start here by HB1, 13-1, and very narrowly missing Sebastian Bourdais. Let's go down to Jan.
Wow, a big weave for Sebastian Bourdais on the way in. Kenny Seawick will talk him through. We already know about the right rear pressure. Oh, I heard a wheel nut go. I believe it was the left.
Wait a minute. Okay, go.
Bruno! A 13-4, you hear the ding, ding, ding. That's what happens if the wheel nut comes out of the gun. And that will definitely slow you down.
Well, Paul Tracy was 8 seconds ahead before this round of pit stops happened. You see Dominguez in the blue car right behind Bourdais. So Bourdais almost lost his position to Dominguez.
2 cars behind you.
But Paul Tracy probably increases lead with that critical mistake by Newman-Haas with the ding-ding-ding of the wheel nut going down the street.
Here's Tracy in the in-deck number 3. He had led from the drop of the green off the pole here in Denver this weekend. Tracy running by himself, stopped 2 laps sooner than Sebastian Bourdais did. The better fuel mileage of the McDonald's 1 seems to be getting could well be a factor before we're done here this afternoon. Working lap 44.97, the Centric's Financial Champ Car Grand Prix of Denver. Ask the Announcers upcoming. Visit the website champcarworldseries.com. Click on Ask the Announcers. Email us your question. Today's question we'll answer when we come back with Denver. More than a mile high does the altitude affect the horsepower of the turbocharged motor in these Champ cars? We'll answer Mark Rasmussen's question when we continue from the streets of Denver. Back in the streets of Denver, Tuesday nights on Speed, it's Texas Hardtails, a peek into the life and twisted times of renowned bike builder Rick Fairless, his custom bike shop. Texas Hardtails, mostly true, totally unreal. Tuesdays at 8:30 Eastern, exclusively here on Speed. With Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin. Jan Beekes is on pit road. Calvin Fish joining us today. Ask the Announcers this week at Denver. More than a mile high here. Well, how does all that affect the horsepower of one of these turbo Cosworth Champ Car motors, Derek?
And turbo is the key here because a turbocharger pressurizes the induction system on top of the engine that forces the air and the fuel mixture into the cylinders. Because it's turbocharged at this altitude, it doesn't really make any difference. Now, if it was a carburetor on it, it would definitely lose power because you don't have enough air to mix with the fuel. But as regards a turbocharger, it almost equalizes, so you don't really lose that much under normal circumstances. Jan?
Derek, that is true, but obviously at altitude, the turbocharger has to work harder. so therefore it spins at a higher RPM. Last year in Denver, that turbo speed was 120,000 RPM, which is above the maximum they like to see. So Ford Cosworth has asked Champ Car to lower the boost pressure here this year to 39 inches instead of 41.5. They still have their Cosworth push to pass, but they've done that in the interest of safety.
And I actually think it was Dominguez in the HVM car last year that actually blew the turbo in a huge cloud of dust and smoke.
What about Oriol Servia, the Pacific Air 2 car, Derek? He's been battling this thing all weekend long. 6th at the moment, didn't qualify well. But he's been expecting Servia to finally get his first career Champ Car victory as he drives the Newman Haas machine in relief of the injured Bruno Junqueira. But he's just been off the pace pretty much all weekend.
And that's all you can say. He has been off the pace. Qualified 8th, has really run around between 5th and 8th place all afternoon. Just for whatever reason, has had this understeer, this push that they have not been able to dial out. And Bourdais' driving style is different to Servia. Bourdais, when you look at his traces, his graphs, which they print out, they'll show each driver, one graph laid over the other. Bourdais carries a lot more speed into the corner. Servia cannot do that without having too much push, enough understeer that he cannot deal with it. Right now, he's about to be lapped by the leader, Paul Tracy. Wow, for Servia, who we talk about being on the podium so many times and potentially as a winner here, this is not something he wants to see. Tracy filling his mirror.
Now, does Newman Haas tell Servia that he's got the race leader behind him and to make it a little difficult for Tracy to get by? Because Bourdais is 9.8 seconds behind Tracy.
Whoa, now there's an interesting thought. I don't think he will deliberately try and block Tracy. There's Tracy having a little look. This is the mile-wide corner. He moves over. Does he give him room? I think he's giving him room.
Heading to start finish in turn 1, and Tracy on the outside. Wow, he will just drive around Servia with no problems at all.
That again is outside the centric suites on the right side. Big Jumbotron television on the left side so all the people can see, which is one of the difficulties of street racing. Right now there's so many big televisions all the way around here. You can see everything that goes on.
Follow all the action as we deliver the coverage for you here on Speed and here at the Streets of Denver course as well. Remember our Bridgestone passion for excellence. The Bridgestone potential is working very well as always. Here's Jan Beekes.
And we were talking earlier about Sebastian Bourdais. I'm joined by Al Spire of Bridgestone. And now you say you think you know why Sebastian's right rear might have gone off?
Well, there were two things, Jan. Right at the start of the race when there was that massive accident, Sebastian got pushed really wide in turn 1, and that's why A.J. Allmendinger and Mario Dominguez got by him. He really kind of leaned on the right rear there, and then the first time that Sebastian tried to pass A.J., he again really leaned on that right rear, and it had more grain than we would typically see at this point in the race, but I think getting a new tire on there is going to help him, and I can tell you Paul Tracy's tires from the first stop look perfect.
So it is a case that if you really lean on the tire where there isn't rubber down, it's more abrasive, and that's what can grain it?
Absolutely. I mean, we developed these tires for a lot of abuse, but you can still over-abuse them, and it's one of the reasons we're out here to learn more about the Bridgestone Potenzas, but I'm sure Sebastian's tire was just overused.
All right, thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
What a graining is, what Al Spire means by graining, it'll begin to roll the rubber. So it rolls the rubber in straight lines, and what happens as the driver uses it, you no longer have all the grip of the tire on the ground. You're beginning to run on this rolled up rubber. The next stage of this rolled up rubber is it can roll into a ball, gets thrown off, and it's on the side of the road. That's what we call the marbles. Very often that you see on road courses.
Well, one driver who may be throwing some marbles is Andrew Ranger in the MyJack Tide, number 27. He's got Sebastian Bourdais right behind him. Now, Ranger is 9th. Bourdais trying to get him and put him a lap down. Bourdais being held up a bit here. 10.9 seconds now the gap. Big move inside. Ranger diving into turn 9. So Bourdais puts Ranger a lap down to his second place effort. Bourdais will set sail again. Try to reel in race leader Paul Tracy. But all of that allowed Tracy to add almost a half second to his lead, Derek Daly. 11.4 seconds now, the gap for Tracy over Bourdais. We're past halfway, 40 laps to go.
And on the last lap, Tracy did a 61.7. Bourdais did a 62.2. Not the lap before this, and he didn't have to pass Ranger. So Tracy still has the outright speed to beat Sebastian Bourdais here. 11 seconds. Remember, it was 8 before they had the pit stop. Bourdais lost at least 3 seconds, maybe 4. So when you add 4 seconds to 8, you can see why it's now 11.4. A tiny little mistake in the pit lane like that is so critical when you run at this level These teams are just so competitive.
And of course, it was green flag pit stops. It wasn't like it was under caution and he could pack the field, get back into that position behind Tracy for a restart. We've only had the one caution full course and the one restart. Now here's Mario Dominguez. Derek, you've called him Tracy's wingman this weekend in the index number 7. Dominguez running third. This has been one of his favorite racetracks. Now he's being held up by Nelson Felipe and by Ranger. This allows Bourdais to open up a gap on Dominguez.
And these are two teammates who want to fight it out also for this position. They are currently in 9th and 10th place, so they don't want to lose touch with each other. The well-boxed car, the red and white car there with Nelson Felipe. He was 5th fastest in the very first practice session, and then they just lost their way in the setup. He's only 18 years old. His brother Richard is here, 15 years old, ran in the Formula BMW race. But Ranger
wide, gives up the spot. He will back off the gas. He lets Felipe go and lets Dominguez go.
And that is where Calvin Fish gave us the report earlier how difficult it is, because that is the concrete of the highway. There is not as much grip there, and you just missed your braking.
I know it's tough to deal with right now. Just keep it under control.
You miss your braking point by 2 feet. You are suddenly going to completely miss.
Here's Dominguez. He dives inside Felipe.
Wow, that's a great brake zone down there. So wide, a lot of grip. Drivers just love, particularly to make that type of move that we just saw Dominguez make. Jan?
He made a pit stop change, a tire pressure change, I should say, during the last pit stop. And the Index crew, I just checked with them, said he has radioed back, has Mario Dominguez, saying that the car is exactly how he wants it to be. It has been kind of a struggle this weekend where he could do one fast lap but can't string them together. Seems better now.
Okay, Nelson Felipe in the well-boxed 34 car. They have allowed Dominguez to get away.
We'll see. We'll see how good this car is.
Yeah.
Can he run down Bourdais? Can he beat Tracy's wingman? Can he crawl, somehow muscle his way up to Bourdais, pass him, and get some championship points away from Bourdais in support of his team leader, Paul Tracy?
Derek, thinking back over the course of this season, other than the Oval, the Milwaukee Mile, the third race of the season, I can't think of a time when Bourdais has not had the fastest race car, at least at some point during the weekend. He's been chasing Tracy hard all weekend long here in Denver. Hasn't been able to get the better of the 2003 Series champion. Meantime, Timo Glock leading those Roush Franz Rookie of the Year standings. Another very solid drive by the former F3000 standout. Glock started 10th in that turn 1 melee off the drop of the green. He gained some ground. He's powered his way to 5th right now. He's a lap down, though, and Paul Tracy, as he drags the brakes here through the twisties heading to the backstretch, that's Tracy starting to reel Glock in. Perhaps put him another lap down.
Well, there's no doubt Glock is beginning to get his feet under him here. Remember, this is a new racing series, a new culture for him. He's only 23, moves over here from Germany. He's a product of the Deutsches Post Speed Academy, which is a driver development program with Deutsches Post, which is basically the postal system in Germany. There's a lot of corporations that support their young drivers in Germany because they know they become ambassadors around the world for their country, which is what Glock is doing right here. DHL, the main sponsor, but now he feels the pressure from Paul Tracy as mirrors are full of the blue Index car, but Glock hanging on. Jan?
He's hanging on also to the gear lever. They've had a little bit of a gear shifting issue. There's a little latch that allows you to go into reverse, and that sometimes is balking his ability to shift. But he's still done some very quick laps. They certainly know Paul Tracy is coming. But as you said, a great day for Timo Glock, especially under those conditions.
Glock almost a full lap behind, and scoring was showing us that he had been lapped. Obviously, that's not yet the case. He is still on the lead lap, but almost in danger of going one lap down. In fifth spot, that shows you how fast Tracy is.
Have a look at this, though. Glock did a 61.5 on the last lap. Race leader Paul Tracy did a 61.4. He is running within 1/10 of a second of Paul Tracy, and Tracy is not reeling him in. So Glock really has the speed of the leading cars here. Again, he's just getting closer and closer to the ultimate pace. This Rocket Sports team beginning to really click. Dave Watson moved over to handle the engineering on Glock's car, left side of your screen, and Tracy is not reeling him in that fast.
As we watch Timo Glock, Paul Tracy, Glock in 5th. Tracy, the race leader, he's been out in front virtually all the way. Gave up the lead only during his pit stop to Sebastian Bourdais. We'll be back in the streets of Denver. Champ Car partner Kevin Calco would talk about wheel slamming American racing, Derek. That's an indication of what we see every week.
And that was only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Look at all that entertainment.
Exactly. Oriol Servia, the Pacific Care 2 car. Servia sitting 6th right now. The Newman Haas team dragging the brakes again down into turn 1. This is the stage of the race as we get to about the 2/3 mark. Brake balance starts to become an issue for a lot of these drivers. Sebastian Bourdais moments ago ran the quickest lap of the day. He ran a 1 minute and some change. That was by far the best lap we've seen, Derek. He's only gotten, he's still 11 seconds behind Paul Tracy.
And I hate to say this, but this is the ultimate embarrassment for Oriol Servia. He is about to get lapped by his team leader. Bruno Junqueira is recovering from the injuries. He is here. He's in the pit lane. He's watching what goes on here. He's itching to get back into the car. Servia has not yet risen to the superstar level that he had hoped he might when he jumped into this number 1 car.
He's had 4 podiums in the last several weeks, has yet to break through and go to victory lane. Bruno, of course, had a good run going here a year ago, won this race in 2002 when he was driving for a different team. And here comes Bourdais again up behind his teammate. Bourdais 2nd, Servia 6th right now, and Servia 1 lap down to race leader Tracy. Here comes Bourdais easily on the main straightaway, blows by him heading into turn 1.
And in fairness, Servia would have backed off. If these two guys now get into a battle and bang wheels and somehow Bourdais gets knocked off, that will be just catastrophic for this team. I'm sure he was told, move over, maybe follow him, learn what he's doing.
Bourdais chops a little bit off of Tracy's advantage. As we check power to pass numbers, top of your screen, Cosworth power to pass. Remember, that's the button on the wheel that gives each driver an extra 50 horsepower for 60 seconds during the course of the race in single bursts. Now, Bourdais has used a lot of his power to pass time. He's got 27 seconds remaining. Tracy's only used 15 seconds. He still has 45 in the bank. So Bourdais can't really count on Cosworth power to pass to get him close to Tracy at this point. Mario Dominguez has used a lot of his time. A.J. Allmendinger holding on to quite a bit of his as well. He still has 42 seconds of power to pass time remaining as we watch the series champion and the current points leader, Sebastian Bourdais, and the McDonald's Centrix number 1, trying to put some distance on the rest of the field, get a little bit closer to race leader Paul Tracy. Now we've had, in big trouble. 1 car in the wall. Is that PT? I believe Paul Tracy has stuck the 3 car in the wall. Tracy has walled the 3 car a ton. Full course yellow, and Tracy has wrecked hard. Dominguez drives by. He has knocked the right side wheels off the 3 car and the nose off it as well.
Are you okay out there?
Neil Mickelwright talking to PT. Down in turn 4, we do believe. Tracy's got the visor.
Tracy's car, as you can see, is absolutely destroyed. That is in kit form, if ever there was one. The leader, this has championship implications. The crash now hands the lead to Sebastian Bourdais. And this is turn 4. This is up on the public roads. This is the area that we said earlier on.
Right off the corner, Derek, as though he couldn't turn the car. Now that makes you think he had a tire down.
He just smashed straight into the concrete wall.
Tracy all alone out in front by 10 seconds. Jan Binkas, what does Neil Mickelwright have to say?
Well, Neil just had an opportunity to see the replay. Could you tell at all from the replay what might have happened to Paul?
No, on the replay, all I could see is the car comes out of the corner, goes straight into the wall. So I didn't see what happened preceding that. So I wasn't able to talk to him, knocked the radio off the car. So.
He's getting out of the car, so we assume he is okay. But typically, that was in a place where he wouldn't go off. Do you think it could have been some kind of either mechanical or tire problem?
Obviously, we're going to have a look at the data and see what we can see. We weren't able to talk to him, and we've got very little evidence from what we saw on screen, so we'll just have to look into it and find out.
Prior to that, it looked like everything was perfect. Was he happy with the car?
Certainly, yeah. The car was running fine. Everything was good. We were just having a bit of problem with some traffic.
Sorry about your tough day.
All right, thanks.
Now the thrill from West Hill sees a textbook drive. He had led every lap except when he went to pit road. Come to grief off of turn 4. Watch this, heading under the Bridgestone Bridge. The car would not turn. He had the brakes locked, missed the tires, and plowed into the concrete barriers here in Denver. Tracy ruins that car, and a great, great run for the pole sitter, second in the championship, the 2003 Champ Car World Series title holder. This race ends prematurely on lap 63, and this puts Bourdais out front for the upcoming restart.
Just going to roll this back nice and slowly to see, is there any indication as to what happened here? Because Paul Tracy I don't see any wheels locked. Just roll it back, roll the video forward again. He missed the tires completely. He simply looks like he's coming out of turn number 2 on the run up. This is turn 2 coming out. I don't see any brakes locked. He's out of the groove. Look, here's the groove right here, the black piece. He's out of the groove. Then the brake smoke. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think he might have just got out of the groove onto the marbles that we just mentioned earlier.
Turn.
Yeah, and a car wouldn't turn. And I think he just walloped into that concrete wall.
Huge damage to the in-deck 3 car. So safety crew 2 for Champ Car there. Dave Hollander, who's the crew chief. He's an EMT from Clark, New Jersey. Todd Johnson, Mike Young, Mark Kester, all there to take care of the in-deck car and the driver, Paul Tracy. So full course yellow for the second time today. This puts Bourdais in the lead for the restart. Look at the damage even done to the barrier. Just fortunately, banners torn up, but that's an indication of how hard Tracy hit that.
And does that tell you the emotional roller coaster that is the world of motorsports? Here you are in a fight for a championship. Here you are in control. Here you are on national television, and seemingly with the event in control, and suddenly a tiny mistake, it is all lost, and now the pit stop start, Jan.
And they said this will be quick on fuel for Bourdais, no tire pressure adjustments. They say it didn't take long for fuel. Wow, 6.9 seconds, and you can see by the position of Mario Dominguez, who now leaves, he easily keeps the lead.
Dominguez second off of pit road, less than 7 seconds. This is A.J. Allmendinger. He will be third at the moment, and we would assume he would come to pit road as well if he has not already made his stop under this caution. Now, 33 laps to go, Derek. This comes at a good time for the team still in contention, for the drivers still in contention. You can get all the way to the checkered flag on this stop.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes when it's going your way, everything happens to everybody else. Newman Haas have never won back-to-back championships. This could be the year that is all going to go right for him as they go by the double yellow flags. The flags, of course, are with flag marshals around the racetrack, a variety of colors, try and tell the drivers, alert the drivers, but everything just seems to be going the Newman Haas way. Paul Newman, actor Paul Newman, is here. He's been here every day. He took Bourdais and Servia, and actually Paul Tracy asked to go to a dirt track last Thursday night to show what it's like on dirt. Tracy, of course, ever the competitive guy, wanted to get in and included in the party to beat this man here, his arch rival.
You know what they drove there? They drove midgets and sprint cars on the dirt, which I think is very cool. Cleanup going on in turn 3 here at Denver, the streets of Denver. Sebastian Bourdais, the McDonald's Centrix #1. We'll have the restart pole. Dominguez, Allmendinger, and Glock will make up the top 4 when we go green in Denver.
Whatever happened to the hero? Fast move, fast cars, and remote control. I just need someone to look up to help me down this winding.
Back live in the streets of Denver on speed. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Series points to the moment as we work race number 9 of the season. Sebastian Bourdais with 217 markers. Paul Tracy with 191. May well get 192 without his finishing points because he will have led undoubtedly the most laps here today. But the gap will stay at least 26, and Bourdais will probably gain a lot of ground here because at the moment it doesn't look as though anyone can challenge Bourdais. Of course, we've still got 30-some laps to go, exactly 30 laps to go next time by. But Mario Dominguez, A.J. Allmendinger, Timo Glock, none of those drivers have shown that they have the speed to challenge Bourdais. We're under full course caution because of this incident. Race leader Paul Tracy, Derek, a huge wreck in turn 3.
Now, he appears from the right side of the concrete right here, and you roll in slow motion. Slow down, right, stop right there. See see the groove right there. Let's run that video back just slightly. Can we run the video back? And you'll see where Tracy is already out of the groove, right there. Just roll it very slowly. Okay, here we go again. Here's the groove where he should be. He's out in the marbles. Oh, hang on a second. Has he got a right front suspension?
Right wheel's tipped in, yeah.
Right front suspension is broken. That's why he couldn't turn. So did Tracy hit the wall somewhere else that eventually broke that right front suspension? Aha. That is the telltale. He is livid. He is furious.
Safety crew wanted to get him for a ride to the infield care center, and he refused. This was moments ago.
Yeah, he is livid. When you race in these concrete canyons and you break your front suspension, 95% of the time is you have helped it break by autographing the concrete wall. It may have simply broken itself, but there is no doubt the right front suspension was bent on Tracy's car, and that put him off the road, and that was a huge crash.
We could see the tire marks. He had been able to get on the brakes, but there's no way to turn the car if the right front wheel is broken, essentially, and is tipped in like that. Well, tomorrow night, NASCAR TV on Speed at 7 Eastern, NASCAR Nation with Leanne Tweeden. Life Beyond the Fast Lane at 7:30. It's NBS 24/7. Find out what it takes to be part of a NASCAR Push Series team. At 8 o'clock, inside Nextel Cup, a full night of NASCAR TV tomorrow here on Speed. With Derek Daly, Ibrig Benjamin, Jan Vikas, and Calvin Fish on pit road, riding with A.J. Allmendinger as the cleanup continues in turn 3. 29 laps remain, second full course yellow of the day. First incident happened off the drop of the green as the field headed toward turn 1. Several contenders caught up in it. Justin Wilson, Cristiano D'Amata behind the wall. Now Paul Tracy will join them behind the wall. We'll have 15 cars remaining in competition. Alex Tagliani missed 15 laps. Jimmy Vasser 25, repairing damage from that lap 1 incident. Quickly down to pit road, Jan Vikas.
And of course, A.J. Allmendinger has moved up to third spot. Jeremy Dale, your thoughts on this race so far? It was very important for A.J. to kind of get back on track after some contact earlier on.
Well, Jan, as you know, we're a long way from being done here. We struggled a little bit in the first stint with pace, especially as the tires got some laps on them. The second stint was really good, and he's quite happy with the car, quite comfortable in the car. And we're all packed up now, and everyone's good to go on fuel, so I'm looking forward to the race.
All right, well, that's a great indicator of someone in third place that happy just as we go back to green.
Getting ready to restart. Bourdais will have the restart pole in the McDonald's 1. Dominguez, second spot in the Index 7 car. Third, Allmendinger, Glock, and Philippe are next in line.
Green, green, green.
And as you saw, you do not have to wait to get around that corner to accelerate. You can accelerate at the end of that back straight where we saw Bourdais just light them up.
How about Timo Glock now putting pressure on Allmendinger? Great drive by Glock.
And remember, Glock was doing lap speeds the same as leader Paul Tracy earlier. Look at A.J. Allmendinger fights the back of that Rue Sports car. Bourdais starting to pull away from Dominguez, who runs second. Dominguez very good here a year ago, ran fourth for the HVM, the Urdez team at that time. This is onboard Allmendinger in the Western Union number 10. Again, here comes Glock. And when they accelerate, I know you might have too much of this, but just look at that pop-off valve right there. The amount of movement on that valve shows the torque of the engine. Remember, it is solidly mounted on the engine that is solidly bolted to the chassis, but with 750 horsepower and all the torque, it just tries to twist itself as you get under power here.
Allmendinger third, trying to close in on Mario Dominguez. He's got Timo Glock pressuring him there, the DHL Global Mail 8 car.
See
Glock at sports team.
I see Glock rocking the brakes. Now, as you go on board, listen to Allmendinger, because he is locking the rear brakes. That's where Tracy crashed, right here. There it is again, little lock. Gotta be real careful, because as the pressure mounts, particularly up on the city streets here, isn't enough grip. Didn't lock it there. You are so on the limit on these street circuits. It is such a test of discipline, of skill, of the mechanical ability of these cars. Look at the wing end plates here on the Rue Sports car. See the little slots in there? Remember at Cleveland, we highlighted those on the Newman Haas car?
Yeah.
That was the aerodynamic development that they developed themselves.
A lot of wind tunnel time for that team.
Maybe it's monkey see, monkey do, but now Other people, in fact, have copied that same rear wing end plate design, Jan?
Yes, in fact, you can see one of the examples of the spares of Paul Tracy. Here are these vents, and if we can swing around to the inside, the idea is that it actually vents the air that comes off this corner. It is the center of the wing that is most efficient, but it packs the air back in this corner. This is meant to vent the air off to reduce this pressure so you can get more of the rear wing, giving you that downforce.
Trouble on course, one car in some difficulty. It looks as though Mario Dominguez has gone around, but he's back pointed in the right direction now. Dominguez, though, being heavily pressured by Oriol Serbia. So Dominguez, who was running second, has given up a lot of track position. He did not stall the car. So he's back now in sixth unofficially. Or in front of him, two hijack cars, Nelson Felipe and Andrew Ranger, will have to serve penalties.
And this is, again, top of the hill, turn 4, Dominguez. Where is he? Oh, he goes down the escape road. That was the next corner on after where Paul Tracy went off. It was pretty harmless, didn't hit anything. But now Allmendinger is second, and Timo Glock for Rocket Sports is in a position to be on the rostrum as we speak.
Laps winding down, 25 to go here through the streets of Denver. Your leader is Bourdais. All of that action allows him to open the lead up now, 2.5 seconds over A.J. Allmendinger, who, as hard as he has fought this weekend, Allmendinger has not had as fast a race car as Bourdais at any point. This is Bjorn Ferdheim. Here comes Glock now in that DHL Global Mail car running third. He's about 5 seconds behind the race leader.
You have to be mistake-free. At this level, you cannot hope to run to the front without being mistake-free. Glock currently in P3. What a boost of confidence this will be for Timo Glock and for this team. And in fairness to Ryan Hunter-Reay, who currently runs in 7th place, Ryan Hunter-Reay had got his fast lap taken away in qualifying, so he started towards the back, but he now has his hands full to run with the European invader here, Timo Glock, ex-Jordan Formula One test driver, doing a great yeoman service here for Rocket Sports.
As we watch Hunter-Reay and Timo Glock both progressing nicely through the field, heading to third spot. Yeah, the team owner for these two has to be pretty happy.
Yeah, he has a huge grin on his face, and for Timo, excellent effort, especially since you told me he's got gearbox issues.
Well, he had the reverse lever was broken off, and it was getting in his way, causing him to really miss some downshifts, but when you think about it, he was 14th after the first lap, so he's raced his way back to third.
Now, what from a standpoint of pit stops have you changed on the car to make it better?
Well, nothing we could do. We haven't touched the race car. Because he was last, we got a little bit of an advantage because of an early fill there. That meant we beat a couple guys out of the pits. Lucky strategy.
But you have struggled with these kind of setups. Now you found something that works for you.
Well, for the last 2 years, we've really struggled here, but I think it's driver and engineering here.
It's definitely turned things around. Thank you.
Thanks.
Paul Gentilozzi, the Rocket Sports team principal there with a smile on his face. Those smiles have been hard to come by in the Champ Car World Series season here in 2005. Glock a solid third. He is losing ground now to Allmendinger. Allmendinger stays about 2.5 seconds behind race leader Sebastian Bourdais. Glock now 6.5 seconds behind the leader. Mario Dominguez back on the racetrack after using the runoff area a few moments ago. He's fourth. He's 11 seconds off the lead. Serbia fifth. Rodolfo Levine with a good run today, up to sixth in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Your leader is Bourdais with 23 to go in the Centrix Financial Grand Prix of Denver. Live streets of Denver, Champ Car World Series. Wednesday nights at 8:30 on Speed. It's Pinks. Two drivers put their rides and pride on the line. No points, no money. No, the racing for Pink slips. Lose the race, lose your ride on Pinks. Wednesday at 8:30 exclusively here on Speed. Heinrich Benjamin, Derek Daly alongside, riding with A.J. Allmendinger. Less than 20 laps remain, and Allmendinger is second. Derek is giving chase to race leader Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's Centrix car number 1. Bourdais, the series champ. He is the current points leader by 26 over Paul Tracy. And right now, it looked as though Allmendinger might have been chopping into that lead. Bourdais got wind of that and just laid down a 1:08 second lap. He built the lead back to 2.8 seconds. So Bourdais adding to the lead. Now, what about Paul Tracy, who led 65 laps here today, minus his first pit stop? Well, Calvin Fish has caught up with Tracy.
Well, Paul Tracy's made his way back to the motorhome, and Paul, crushing blow for the championship. What happened out there, mate?
I threw it away. You know, I just was getting frustrated having to sit behind Glock, you know, waiting. The blue flags were flying every lap, and I was getting frustrated, and they told me I had to get closer to him, and I was, you know, pressing harder to get up closer. I brushed the inside wall, just barely touched it, and it threw me across the track right in the wall.
The car looks so good today, though.
Yeah, the car was great. I mean, I just basically just handed the championship to Sebastian. So it's, it's devastating for the whole team, and we'll just try to come back next week in Montreal and try to win there. That's all we can do.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks.
That's been a difficult week for Paul Tracy. As we told you at San Jose 2 weeks ago, he had an opportunity perhaps to make his Nextel Cup debut at Michigan next week with the Richard Childress team. PT tested a stock car at Concord Motorsports Park, the short track just outside Charlotte. Had problems there with the brakes. One of Andy Hillenberg's school cars, actually, we're told, and ended up having a problem getting into the wall there. Then went to Michigan, was very fast. But then the announcement at the end of the week, as the weekend here in Denver began, that they would not go ahead and enter PT at Michigan on the 2-mile super speedway there next weekend. And what would have been the 33 car for Richard Childress Racing, that they've decided to wait for another opportunity to let Tracy make his debut in NASCAR competition. And PT led just about all the race, really. The only laps he did not lead in the first 65 when he made his pit stop. Now here it is again, Derek.
Well, what happens is this wall here, right in the corner, Paul hits the wall with the left side, his left front suspension, and that bounces him across out of the groove that we saw earlier, and that sent him on a trajectory straight into the concrete wall.
And that ended Tracy's bid to win his third race of the season and chop into Bourdais' championship lead. Tracy had everything going his way, Derek. Fastest on Friday, taking the provisional pole. Came back yesterday to gain the bonus point, fastest in both sessions. But as we pointed out earlier in the telecast, there is some history to suggest that PT cannot quite get through the last third of one of these races without a problem.
Well, we saw that today. As he said himself, he blew it. He blew it, and he handed the championship here to the McDonald's car. You see a lot of Centrix Financial on this car this weekend. Heavy support for the Newman Haas from Centrix Financial. They have a growing relationship here. Centrix, of course, have exploded in the motorsports arena. They're going to build a racetrack here in Denver within a couple of years, a club racetrack. They're very heavily involved with Borisset and Nextel Cup racing. They do off-road racing, and of course they now own this venue here.
And it has been a very successful event. This is the fourth running of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Denver. Now the Centrix Financial Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific here. Its fourth run at this site. It's been a trouble-filled afternoon in the last half hour or so for the MyJack cars. Calvin Fish, both their drivers were penalized. What happened?
They were both suffered penalties. Eric Bachelard, team owner, explained to us why both guys got penalties there.
Well, from what I understand, there's been a misunderstanding between Nelson and his engineer. And Nelson's engineer told him to drive by the pits and basically stay on the track. And Nelson understood that he had to drive by the pace car. So he got a penalty. And as far as Andrew, I guess Andrew followed Nelson and he passed some other cars, in the yellow. And this is also why he got a penalty. So.
What's it like handling the two youngest drivers in this series, Eric?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think we need to talk to them a bit in a more clear way. So I think I need to speak with the engineers as well. I mean, mainly as far as Nelson is concerned. But, I don't know. It's a shame because, they're doing quite a good job out there, and right now they're pushing quite hard and they have a pretty good pace. So it's not been our weekend this weekend. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, two young teenagers getting excited out there, Rick.
Well, they were up in 6th and 7th when those penalties were assessed, coming off the Tracy incident and the return to green just a few moments ago. And now they're back Ranger in the MyJack Tide car, the 27. He's shown 10th. Philippe right behind him in 11th spot. They're pretty fast, Derek, but learning these cars and learning race management has really been a problem.
And it's for Eric Bachelard, it's like any dad controlling two kids, two teenagers. They're both only 18 years of age. So they have a lot to learn, youthful enthusiasm. You can see Nelson Philippe here right behind Ranger, getting this thing sideways under power as he exits the corner. You got to be careful here. Not many laps left here, so for these two boys to finish, even in the position they're in, I think will be a pretty good day.
Well, Ricardo Spirifico has done a nice job for Dale Coyne's AMR team, the 11 car up in 9th right now. And he's got about a 5-second advantage over these two, over Ranger and Philippe. Ronnie Bremer's up ahead in 8th in the other Dale Coyne car. He's about 30 seconds behind the race leader with the number 19 for Bremer. He took that ride over back at Edmonton several weeks ago. Bremer doing a very nice job. Ryan Hunter-Reay continues to soldier on 7th in the Rocket Sports number 31, the Cytomax car. Rodolfo Levine, haven't talked much about him. He had a problem earlier in the 55, the HVM car. He took that car over just at San Jose 2 weeks ago. But Levine up in 6th right now. Oriol Serbia is 5th in the 2 car, the Pacific Air entry. Dominguez 4th, Glock 3rd, Allmendinger trying to chase down Bourdais. But Sebastian Bourdais, the defending series champion, has opened up a 6-second lead. Now here's Levine. The Corona logo's on that car for the first time here this weekend. He's right in front of his teammate, Bjorn Bernheim. Now what about Bernheim in the 4 car? He had a good day going. He's gotten a lap down. He's down in 12th spot in the running order now with 13 laps remaining in the Centrix Financial Champ Car Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Care.
We expected a little bit more from Bernheim. You see him following Serbia here. His best finish has been 8th. He's actually led 29 laps this year. Another team that brought rookies in initially. Remember, Bremer was with this team at the start of the year. A couple of driver shuffles. Now Levin is in there. Will stay there for the rest of the year. But I think as you watch the Liqui Moly car go by here, they've had so many wall-banging incidents. I think Keith Wiggins, who owns this team, there's the Eurosport car, but Keith Wiggins will be happy to come away with 2 of these cars that you can roll them into the transporter, not carry them in.
Those guys have had plenty of weekends when they've had to bring back everything. Just the steering wheel's all they've been able to carry back to the haulers after the end of the day, no doubt about it. Heading to the backstretch here, the long back straightaway that heads you toward what we call mile-wide corner, turn number 9, as we watch Bernheim. Bernheim sitting in 12th position right now. There's Serbia in 5th. Dale Coyne ought to have a pretty big smile on his face, though. Cal, both his cars up in the top 10.
Well, he does. There's a big day for you, Dale. American Medical Response is based here in Denver, and right now you got both cars running in the top 10 after a difficult start.
It's been a rough weekend. We haven't been as competitive as we have the last couple of races, but they're doing a good job now, steady. They're trying, I think Ricardo would have been up probably in the top 4 or 5 because he was doing good, but he got trapped in that first lap mess. So but they're doing all right. They finish there, then we'll take a couple top 10s.
The laps that Ronnie led at San Jose, how much confidence did it give him and you as a team to know that you could be at the front and run the pace of the leaders?
Well, the strategy to put him in the front, but then he stayed out there. His tires were old, and he likes fresh. Everybody likes fresh tires, and he was doing a good job. So I think that's good. The next race is Montreal. I think we can do a lot better there.
Mate, good luck.
Good, thanks.
The thoughts of Dale Coyne as he watches his 2 AMR cars roll along here very nicely. Ronnie Bremer up into 8th position, and Bremer getting stronger by the week in this car, Derek.
The American Medical Response car on loan, technically, from HVM team. They have Bremer contracted for next season, 2006. So at least the satisfaction that he knows he doesn't have to go through a winter wondering what he might do next year. But Sperafico, we expected a lot from Sperafico. Back here on the second of the AMR cars, he is by far the faster of the Speraficos. There are 5 Sperafico brothers and cousins. Brian Maul also, the engineer. One of the rumble strips came off. This is turn 5, and that is an exposed bolt that you see. They bolt these things down. They need to make sure these tires don't run over. There's the bolt right there. Look at that. That will be like a knife. Thankfully, it's the one on the inside, but that will
Look
be
at
like
the
a
threads
knife.
there. That one has come out of the pavement completely. The rumble strip itself is gone, and there's one sticking up. Now, you shouldn't be that close to the curb on the inside, but the one you can see it roll, I think somebody just put a tire over the one that had come out of the concrete there.
You shouldn't be, but if there's any road available, a driver will tend to use everything potentially available. Now, Tony Kottman is Champ Car's race director. He is obviously looking at these pictures. He will make a decision here, and he's been making very good decisions all this season. He'll make a decision as to whether he can go and retrieve the errant bolt or whether he needs to do something else under a full course or a local yellow.
Watching AJ Allmendinger, his helmet visor cam, giving you these beautiful pictures as he heads to the backstretch. 10 laps to go at the Centrix Financial Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Care. Looking lap number 88. Bourdais has a 7.8-second lead over AJ Allmendinger as he dives into turn 9 at the end of that long backstretch. Great crowd on hand here again this weekend. This Denver Grand Prix has just been a home run in terms of fan support. Tony Kottman, the Vice President of Operations, Race Director for Champ Car. Tony, I'm sure you saw that picture we were showing a moment ago at turn 5. The rumble strip gone, the bolts are loose. What can you do? What will you do about that as the laps wind down?
The rumble strip's pretty much taken care of itself. It's got pushed out into the tyres on the exit of 5, and the bolt that's sticking up, it's so far inside that I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. So I don't see any problems for the rest of the event.
There is that one extra bolt that's just loose there, and the threads are exposed. As we see, it was Zoriel Serbia that clipped it and took it loose there. Is that loose bolt rolling around any concern for you?
Not at the moment. I think we're all right. But, you know, if we go down for any other reason, we'll take care of it. But at the moment, I'm not too concerned about it.
All right. Thank you, Tony Cobbett, Vice President of Operations. Meantime, Timo Glock, the DHL Global Mail 8 car, the Rocket Sports machine, he was running up in the top 3, and Glock has lost power. He is off the gas, and we'll find out what has happened to the DHL car. But Glock looked as though he was headed for a podium finish. Now it appears he's headed for pit road.
Well, can you believe that? That now promotes Zoriel Serbia onto yet another podium. We mentioned earlier on that there was a gearbox problem with this. It's Dominguez that actually goes up into P3, but we mentioned a gearbox problem earlier on. I wonder, is that, and look at the face of Paul Gentilozzi. He can hardly believe what he's watching here.
Glock coasting to a stop in front of you, Cal.
He is, and let's have a quick chat here with Paul. He had a great run going here today, Paul. Is it the gearbox?
Yeah, third gear broke, and then, of course, it floats around and breaks the other gears. You can't imagine how heavy my heart is. Timo drove a fantastic race. He was holding off Mario. The kid's got great heart, great speed. Today, unfortunately, we let him down.
You started off the season well, then you seem to lose your way a little bit. In the last couple of races, things are coming back for Timo and Ryan.
Well, we lost a little communication. Same parts. Now they're doing the right thing, and they're racing up front. Today was just a bad luck day.
Okay, they'll try and rebound in Montreal.
They've taken the pad out, Glock being unbuckled. A.J. Allmendinger in the Western Union 10 car for the Rouge Sports team, running second. He is 10 seconds behind race leader Sebastian Bourdais, but he's had a nice, clean day, which is what this team needed. We'll be back. Welcome back on Speed. Coming up 3 laps to go. The Centrix Financial Champ Car Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Air. Sebastian Bourdais is your leader by 12 seconds. He's posted the fastest lap of the race. Our average lap pace of minute 8 because of 2 long full course yellows. This, though, a great battle for second. Paul Tracy's teammate Mario Dominguez in the index number 7, Derek Daly, has closed right in on the Western Union car of A.J. Allmendinger. This is for second spot.
Pressure cooker here for A.J. Allmendinger. He has made mistakes in the past. Can he hold on? This is a real test now of the mental skills of Allmendinger, and it is down the end of the long back straight, 2 or 3 corners from here, where Dominguez will pounce. That is where he will try and push the issue. He's going to get close to him right here, but Allmendinger is under pressure, Jan.
You talk about the mental pressure. Consider he's had headaches this weekend, very similar to what he had in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, he got no sleep with a migraine headache and finished second. This weekend, he's had headaches all weekend, and he's running second. But as you said, now he's got not only a headache, but a mental pressure from Mario Dominguez.
3 laps to go as they come to start, finish on the front straightaway. Here comes Dominguez looking inside, down into 1, drags the brake a little bit. Power to pass, Cosworth power to pass. The extra 50 horsepower on tap. That button on the steering wheel. Allmendinger's used up all but 5 seconds. He's got 1 burst left. Dominguez has 11 seconds of time left. He may have enough for 2 shots.
Allmendinger is quicker in the infield, tighter sections. I'm not sure, though, that he's quicker down the long back straight. It depends how close he can get through here. This turn 5, right behind him here. Then he goes through 6, 7, and 8 is the one that opens up and just is blasted down the back straight. He's not close enough. He's not close enough here. Now, isn't this a situation, Derek? You've got Allmendinger in his 2nd year in Champ Cars. Dominguez has only been doing this. This is just his 4th season. Isn't this part of the education of a young race driver to face this kind of a pressure situation? Absolutely. And the great athletes can withstand the pressure and rise to the occasion. Meanwhile, Ranger is in a battle. What's he in a battle for?
That's Tagliani, and he is back 14th, 15 laps down. So Andrew Ranger up in 10th right now. He's chasing his teammate Nelson Philippe. They are 9th and 10th with Timo Glock's retirement. Back to the battle for second now. They'll get the white flag next time by. This is heading to turn 3.
Dominguez with the 2002 Rookie of the Year. Oh, he's right behind him now. Look, right behind him. This is the key. He's got to be behind him through the next corner, which is 4. That was traffic. That's why we looked at Ranger. Give you an idea of the traffic they were about to come across. This is where he's on the rev limiter. Dominguez is right behind him now.
And you heard the call on the radio to Allmendinger. He said that the 7th car of Dominguez, the Index car, has 2 push-to-pass shots left.
Oh, look at Allmendinger, pulls away.
White flag, 1 to go for Sebastian Bourdais, who's in lap traffic.
Here's the brake zone. Can he make it? Oh, he's going down the inside.
Dominguez trying to go inside Allmendinger. Allmendinger tries to come back. There's traffic in the way. Allmendinger back there side by side to the white flag.
Oh, it's a drag race. It's a right-hander. Dominguez has the advantage.
Lap traffic on the inside. That's Marcus Marshall.
What a fine lap here.
Dominguez with a great move at the end of the backstretch. Allmendinger couldn't come back at him, and we've seen that before.
Brilliant move by Dominguez, and this is where he's been faster. Carl Russo looks on, can hardly believe that second place is lost. Jan?
When you saw that drag race, that was exactly what we heard on the radio, that Mario Dominguez had 2 presses of the power to pass, and that A.J. Allmendinger had 1. So when it came down to a drag race, the 50 horsepower made the difference.
And they have used all of their power to pass time. Here's Bourdais heading in turn number 9. Last time around this 1.65 mile street circuit in the streets of Denver. Bourdais will win back-to-back Denver Grand Prix. Checkered flag in the air. Sebastian Bourdais in the Centrix McDonald's number 1 wins his sponsors event, the Centrix Financial Champ Car Grand Prix of Denver, presented by Pacific Care. Bourdais with a dominant 15-second win over Mario Dominguez. Here comes Allmendinger. He'll get 3rd. Serbia will come on for 4th in the Pacific Care car. And for Bourdais, back-to-back trips to victory lane. He has won again in the streets of Denver.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Well. What about that? Sebastian Bourdais, the ugliest donuts in the business. There's Craig Hampson, his engineer. Craig Hampson has been there for 12 years with this team. This is one of the most stable teams in the business. Some of the team members have been there for 23 years. Hard to believe. Oh, we got more donuts. Hang on.
Well, you've got to celebrate, Derek, because this is Bourdais' 3rd consecutive Champ Car win. Remember, he came from 10th on the grid to win at Edmonton back in July, then wired the field at San Jose 2 weeks ago, a place very difficult to pass. Came from 3rd here, or 2nd on the grid here today, 3rd at one point to win this race. And he heads through the wall toward victory lane.
And you know what's very cool?
Mom and Dad are here.
Mom and Dad are here. They flew over from Le Mans in France. His dad, Patrick, is still an active race car driver. Mom is here. They don't come to all the races, but this, oh boy, this is a special day for their son right there. Look at that. Dominant now in the championship.
Bourdais continues his incredible streak. He has been in the top 6 every week, all 9 rounds of the championship. Won the opener at Long Beach, 5th in Monterrey, Mexico after an incident with Tracy, 6th on the oval at Milwaukee, a place he just has never really come to grips with, 2nd at Portland behind D'Amata, 5th at Cleveland, 5th at Toronto, and the wins now 3 straight. Edmonton, San Jose, here in Denver, all temporary circuits. And a great, great day for Sebastian Bourdais. What about the congratulations for Mario Dominguez, runs 2nd here?
I think Mario had a superb run today. Earlier, he wasn't quite able to keep the pace of the leaders. Then, remember, we got a report that he put a 2nd set of tires on. He said the car is just the way I like it. And that was a superb, opportunistic moment down inside in the brake zone for Mario Dominguez. Nothing energizes your team more than to see your driver do something like that on the very last lap.
Sebastian Bourdais with the Bridgestone victory hat on in victory circle. Jan Bikas.
And he just climbs from the car with the checkered flag, hardly breaking a sweat for Sebastian Bourdais. The crew offers its congratulations. And Sebastian, I bet one of the crew members is probably bringing the telltale piece this season for you, and that's the golden horseshoe. It worked just perfectly for you today.
Well, I don't know if we had the golden horseshoe today, but definitely PT did his own damage, and he was running really hard the whole race, and unfortunately after the start when he kind of pushed me wide, he went wide himself and really didn't give me very much room, nothing bad, but just I had to give a position to AJ, and I knew it was really going to be difficult to pass him. Took me a while to get it done, and by that time he was already 8 or 9 seconds ahead on the road. So from there on, we worked really hard, tried to save a bit of fuel, but we are matching his speed, but not really much better. So there was really no hope, and kept running hard. I kept running hard, and he made a mistake. We won the race. It's really fantastic for the Magnolia car.
Tell us about the first stint where you were calling on the radio saying there was a problem with the right rear. And Al Spire said maybe because you had been wide a couple times and really leaned on it. Was that the case?
No, it's just I really pushed hard behind AJ, and when you lose 20% of downforce, you use up the tires. As good as the Bridgestone tires are, they really don't take it very well when you abuse them. And I just had to stand still for a while and hold myself here. It paid off when we put the second set of tires. It was going pretty well. Put the fastest lap of the race, and then on the third set also, the car was really good. It's just when you start up front, it's a lot easier.
It definitely is easier. You said about 20% less downforce because of the thin air. How much trouble in the car as far as getting enough air under these conditions?
It's all right. It's not extremely demanding here because, as we said, the grip is reduced, so the steering effort is reduced. And I was pretty sick, and I'm still coughing pretty bad, so I'm pretty happy to finish it the way we did.
Well, for a sickness, certainly a fantastic day for Sébastien Bourdais and the McDonald's team. Calvin?
Well, Jan, it was a great battle for second place. Well, it went the way of Mario Dominguez. Mario had to run down the escape road, dropped to fifth, and a great battle. Talk about the pass on AJ.
I know, it was terrible. My visor was fogging up really bad. I got to the point where I couldn't see. I got so distracted, messed up with my mind. So I went down the escape road, and I said, if I don't make up second place, the team's going to shoot me. So thank God I made the first podium for Foresight Championship Racing Team this year. The first of many, I hope.
How important was the Cosworth push to pass in making that move on AJ?
It was big. I had planned it. I just waited for the right amount of right time when AJ caught some traffic, and I had 11 seconds left, and I pressed it, and I was good enough able to get me sideways, and AJ had slowed down too much because of the back markers, and I was able to get him.
Well, a superb run here, and a guy who's won here before on the streets of Denver and Atlantic. AJ, podium finish. You had 3 DNFs in a row. Good to get that monkey off your back, I'm sure.
Yeah, first of all, I was just glad to finish. But no, I mean, the team did a great job. We struggled all weekend just trying to get the right handle on the car. I was holding on for dear life, just trying to hang on and hold Mario off. But, finally gave Western Union a podium. Red Bull, as always, drink a couple of those tonight, have some fun, and, just a great finish, and, just good to get back on track.
How much does it play on your mind when you're trying to get your confidence back? I mean, you've been in the lead, you've been on the cusp of your first win. How much does that play on your mind in those closing laps?
It was like when I was by myself, it was kind of thinking about it, and then Mario started, clouding my mind up again. So it was probably better, but it's just great overall. Bridgestone, as always, they did a great job bringing a great tire, and I'm just happy to be on the podium.
Well, I know you'd love to have a chat here with your dad. You got your dad here. What about the performance of the young man today, Dad?
Oh, it was great, man. It's what we needed to see, a checkered flag. I'm so happy. Finally.
Well, he's always there rooting his son on. You can hear the emotion in his voice. A great day for the Rousport team here in Colorado.
Now, big monkey off A.J. Allmendinger's back by getting to the finish line. We've shown you all the incidents he's been involved in since Cleveland back in June. We take you through the unofficial top 10. Sébastien Bourdais, a dominant win after Paul Tracy wrecked about 2/3 of the way through this one. Tracy brushed the wall, broke the right front corner of the 3 car, and on the very next turn, the car just wouldn't turn left. He walled the 3, did a ton of damage. He's okay, but it puts him now 52 points unofficially behind Sébastien Bourdais. We'll have a look at the points table a little bit later on. Dominguez, Allmendinger, Servia up to 4th, Derek.
And as you look down through it, Levin, a good day for him. Ryan Hunter-Reay came from the back of the grid. And both of Dale Coyne's cars, they finished 7th in the last race in San Jose. Now 2 cars in the points, as does the MyJet